In this video, I'm going to show you how to get the Golden Scarab Talisman, which will give you 1.2 times the runes for defeating enemies, and that's going to help you a lot when you're just starting out and trying to level up. Now this item is available in Caleb, which is a more advanced area, but you can get there quickly from Limgrave if you take the transporter trap from the Dragonburn ruins. And I've already shown that in a previous video, the Elden Ring farming video, so I'll leave a link below for that if you want to go and watch that. But it takes you to the Cellular Crystal Cave. Now you want to go from the Cellular Crystal Cave to the Abandoned Cave. And it's not as easy as just going to your left to the abandoned cave there. You need to go down first to the Aeonia swamp shore and then around, because there are a very large number of high cliffs there that you can't get to from the bottom of this swamp. So you need to ride out there, and I'm just doing this rather quickly at 5 times the speed so you can see what's going on. But I think you saw that there was a tree trunk there, and you're going to be crossing that tree trunk from that side of the cliffs to the other side of the cliffs. And you can also see the side of grace, so make sure if this is the first time that you stop at that side of grace, so if you die for whatever reason, then you don't have to ride that far again. But it shouldn't take you that long, maybe like a minute or so. And as you can see, I've just overshot that a little bit. And yeah, don't do that when you're crossing. Just go a little bit slower so you don't have to ride out there again. But once you get to the abandoned cave, make sure you stop at that side of grace, and then if you explore a little bit, you're going to find these pools of scarlet rot, and they're going to quickly be a bit of a burden for you if you don't do something about it. So you want to increase your resistance and your immunity, and as you can see here under your character status, it says your resistance to various poisons and rot for immunity. Your other resistances are your robustness, which is your blood loss and frostbite, your focus, which is your sleep and madness, and vitality is your death. But what you want to mostly focus on is your immunity. So you want to wear as much armor as you can that increases that immunity number. And as you can see here, I'm going through my armor sets, just trying to pick out which one has the highest immunity number. And then I'm going to wear that over the areas with the Scarlet Rot pools. And so I've increased my immunity from about 180 to 260 now, which is going to help a little bit. Not that great, but it is all I've got. Another thing you can do is by preserving boluses from a nomadic merchant from the Caelid Highway North. And this item says that it alleviates Scarlet Rot buildup and cures rot. So you're only allowed to purchase 3. Once you purchase those, he doesn't have any more. Now I did find actually eating it before jumping in doesn't actually help with the buildup of the rot that much, and it actually is much better if you want to cure Scarlet Rot. So once you actually get Scarlet Rot, that's actually when you use the preserving boluses, and that's going to cure your Scarlet Rot. Now this is my playthrough from the beginning of the abandoned cave to the end of the boss fight. You want to wait for that pool of Scarlet Rot to bubble up first and then jump in, and try to make your way as quickly as you can to that middle island. Your Scarlet Rot buildup is going to be pretty quick, so you want to get there just in time before you actually get Scarlet Rot, because once you get that, that's going to just decrease your health once you get it. So if you get that, that's a problem, because you're going to end up using a lot of your health potions. So you don't want to do that, and you want to just make sure that you don't get any Scarlet Rot at all. Once you think you can make it to the next bit, which only takes a couple of jumps, then you should be good, and you don't have to wait for the entire bar to decrease. This next area, you can just go to the right hand side here. You don't have to worry so much about the left if you're not interested in exploring the cave. I think there's a couple of items there, but nothing as important as this Golden Scarab. So if this is your first time, you might want to bring a torch in here. I've gone through this a couple of times now, so I knew where all the enemies were, didn't really need a torch. Now, to help you out, you can also bring a bow and arrow as well, or bring some arrows, and then that way it makes it a little bit easier, because there are a few enemies in here that will give you poison buildup as well. And so if you can just shoot them down before they get to you, makes it easier. There's also a couple of rats in here that are pretty easy to take care of as long as you keep your shield up. This next area has a really big poisonous flower, so I found one way to quickly take him down was to use a fire pot. So you can craft this item if you have crafting available, and then you can just throw that at the flower, and it takes off about 500 points of damage, which is pretty good, I think. You can use your other ranged attacks like magic, or you can use your bow and arrow as well. So if you actually go into that room, there are lots of other enemies there as well. So there's this soldier guy, which is poisonous. There are smaller enemies in that room if you want to go in and melee it, so it can get a little bit messy if you want to do it that way. But you don't have to kill everything in that room, just enough so that you can get to this next bit here. Because once you get up at the top here, those enemies down below can't really hurt you. Once you get up the top here, you want to kill this enemy fairly quickly so he doesn't poison you. Otherwise, you're going to end up using a lot of your health potions, and then that's going to make that boss fight a lot harder. Once you've done that, it's just a short walk to the boss fight, and before the boss fight I used a flask of wondrous physic, which increases my strength and makes it harder for me to get knocked down. I'm also using my lone wolves. Now in this boss fight you're actually fighting two of these knights, so it can be a little bit tricky if you're going to be fighting both of them at the same time. What you want to do is, of course, kill one as quickly as you can. But also what you want to do is you want to position yourself so that you're always facing both of them at the same time, so that you can see what the other one is doing. Now you don't want to position yourself in the middle, because that's going to make the fight a lot harder for you if they're attacking you from both sides. But if you have these lone wolves summoned, that makes the fight a lot easier, because they're going to be able to interrupt one of those knights. And you can see here, as soon as I'm in the middle there, it's a lot easier for that second knight to attack me. But once you get one down, it's not too difficult to get the other one down, because he's going to get interrupted a lot. And with these lone wolves, you can also back out pretty comfortably and then drink health potions as well. But once he goes down, he can also be staggered pretty easily as well. So that was not a terribly difficult boss fight, but it can be difficult for lower leveled enemies. But that's about it, and you get your gold scarab now, and that's going to help you a lot with leveling up. And so I hope you enjoyed that tutorial, and if you did, make sure to click the like button and also subscribe to the channel for more Elden Ring videos, and I'll see you in the next one.